Um, Good evening, Professor. So for mine, I chose Unit 3, which is the history of race and racial identities in America. I chose this topic because, like, it speaks to society. Well, it needs to be more spoken out into society. And when you discussed it and you went over it, I thought it was like very powerful, very emotional, because it was just like you really see a lot of crime and a lot of privilege being brought to the black community itself because of privilege and hate and history and all that. And when you talked about it in your PowerPoint, I am so sorry. We also talked about racism. We also talked about privilege, and I am going to go over both of those. Like you said, racism is a system of oppression by which groups with relatively more social power subname members of target race groups who relatively have little social power. And with that being said, like I think that it takes into account that white people do have a better advantage in society than us. Like they have better homes, they have better banking systems, they have better cars, more likely. And I do say that it's very hard for a black person or a black family to be in a wealthy suburb neighborhood because you do not see a lot of black people in suburbs or in rich nice neighborhoods. You usually see them in lower income housing or trailer parks or whatever, like apartment complex or whatever. So it's very, like, for me, I think it's very hard for a black person to actually make it out in society because there's a lot of obstacles that have come with just your skin color, and it shouldn't be like that, but it still is like that now. So I'm sorry, my face and my hands. Wait, don't think myself. So for one of my articles, it is called "The Role of Race and Ethnicity in Americans' Personal Lives." It is called Hughes Research Center Social and Demographic Trends. So they had actually did a chart on black people, and and the top of it says blacks are more likely than other groups to say that their race has hurt their ability to succeed. Most whites likely say their race has helped. So with that being said, that goes back to privilege. Most black people, when they did this, 18% of black people said that their skin color has hurt them from being successful in society. And the article actually states that, hold on, let me find it. It says about half of black Americans said that being black has hurt their ability to go ahead, including 18% who say it has hurt a lot. 17% say that blacks has helped them at least a little, while 29 say that it's neither nor helped or hurt their ability to get ahead. When I hear that we have to do charts on our races and stuff like that, that makes me very frustrated. It shouldn't have to be like that. We all should be very equally distributed by the same opportunities, but we're not. As a whole, as a black community as a whole, we are very divided. We look down and look and frown upon our people, more say, because they're trying to come up or make something of ourselves or start a business or a brand or an idea. There's always a shot down in what we're doing as a black community to help our community. And solely whites, especially, likely say that their race has given them 45% of an advantage. 5% say being white has hurt their ability to go ahead 50 say that it has neither helped nor helped them. Do you see that? Do you hear the percentage go up when it says 45% say that it's helped them, 5% say that it's the that being white has hurt them? Do you see how high their advantage is? Like, that's crazy for them to be like that. That's wild, actually, in my book. And it says, and it also goes into Hispanics and Asians too. It also goes into saying that, sorry, I went too far. It also goes into saying that 37% of Asians say the same about their race background, saying that it hasn't helped them, or so 37% say that it has helped them. 37% say that it has not helped them, and it says like little Hispanics and, oh my god, Asians and Hispanics are in the same category. So it just says like their perspective of it has not hurt them at all. Like, it's little to none right now, if you understand what I'm saying. So what I'm seeing is that Hispanics and Asians feel the same way. Like, their skin color hasn't helped them or hurt them at all, a little bit at all. Now going on to Article 2. Article 2 is by American Sociology Association, and one of their paragraphs has stuck out to me, and it says the sociological perspective explores how race and ethnicity are socially constructed and how individuals identify with one or more. Research demonstrates how they are linked to social positions and to political and policy debates about issues such as immigration, identity information, and intergroup relations, including racism. If you like, when I read that, I thought about like, it's a lot of white people in office making decisions about immigration, making decisions about identity for other people, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. There should be an equal party of different races in the office to help better understand immigration, because none of the people in office have ever been in a position to file for immigration, to say that they want to be an American, to say that they want to live here, to say that even though they came from another country, they can still abide by their rules. It shouldn't be like that. I feel like as an American person, and dealing with my mom, like, she's an immigrant right now, and dealing with and having to see her go through the process of becoming an American is very, very stressful for her. Well, she's American now, but it's still very, very stressful for me. Watching the whole process go by was very, very stressful. It was very eye-opening and heartbreaking at the same time, because it was just like, my mom can't do a lot of things that I can do. Like, I can only do that because I'm an American citizen and she's not. And reading that, it just really brought me back to her whole process. She had to pay lawyers, meet with judges, meet with other lawyers, pay. It was just a whole process, and just getting that, and just getting her citizenship to be finalized, it nearly took her probably, roughly about $10,000, just over the course of time of her paying people, of her seeing the immigration status, of her constantly calling them and texting them, and then losing her paperwork and her refiling the paperwork. It's just a whole thing, and it's just like, for immigration, it's just a whole mess. It's a whole mess, and it's a whole mess, and it's just very unreliable. I feel like for immigration status, I feel like they just stall people's status just to get the money, or just because they feel as though. On to Article 3. Article 3 is called the U.S. National Library Media Public Association. And it says, like, the racial ethnicity makeup of America's people influx New immigrants from Asian and Latin America have added a large measure of cultural and diverse to American population in recent decades. Just a wave of immigrants from southern and eastern Europe did a century ago. Now this article goes back like way, way back, like way back, probably to like the 80s, like 1980s, like back there. And it basically discussed like how like a whole bunch of a whole bunch of immigrants were coming